Everyone, Scott here, and I want to talk to you very briefly on how to follow up after your events for your children's ministry. And what we're going to do is basically talk about how to thank your attendees, the people who attended, follow up your first timers, and then follow up with your volunteers. And then we'll show you a couple tips on cleaning everything up in Planning Center. But if I'm going to kind of walk through a account that has already existed, that already has information. But if you need help like setting up, learning how to set all of these things up, hit that question mark at the top right of every one of our products, and you can see articles, you can see videos, and you can contact our support through there. So let's talk about follow-up, and that is all in people, I believe. So first, I want to talk about following up with your attendees. So these are basically, I just have a list of everybody who has attended. And let me show you real quick. I'm going to click into this list, and I'm going to pop over to the Rules tab. And this one is really simple. It's just saying, show me everybody who has registered for this specific event. If you're using check-ins, you can also add a condition of "and checked in" if you'd like to that specific event. But basically, that gives me the list of everybody and their contact information. Oh, sorry. One thing else to point out here is that this would give everybody who's registered, but you might not want that because that might be kids for your children's ministry. Instead, you might want to get all the household adults of these people, because when you want to follow up, you want to follow up with those adults, not with those kids, because they probably don't have emails. So this is going to take a few moments to follow up, fire up your list is what it takes. And it's basically, it's doing all the math of all the people who have, all the adults of everybody who has registered for that event. And we'll give that a moment, and then we will do something. There we go. Okay, now there's a bunch of different things that you can do. You can send emails, announcements, all the things that you can normally do here. But what I really would just want to encourage you is what's normal is like send an email just saying, hey, thanks for attending. Here's a couple stats about the event, the people that came, and then here are more events that are happening with our church. So that is what you can do with that list right there. Now, let's go back to list. I want to then talk about following up with your first-time guests. This gets a little bit more advanced here. We're going to jump into Summer Celebration first-time guests. I'm going to go to the rules, and it says anybody who has registered for this event, but exclude the people who have checked in since 12 months ago. Basically, exclude everybody who has attended in the last year. That's basically what that's saying. So that's probably your first-time guest. You can make that rule whatever you want. If you want to extend that or make it shorter or whatever you want, you can do that. But with this list of kids, it looks like there are none at the moment, but you can create an automation. And this is really powerful. With automations, like I have, for example, an automation for first-time guests to make sure that we do a couple steps. So basically, anybody who shows up in this list, it'll automatically add them to a first-time guests workflow. So let me show you that workflow. I'll jump over to workflows. We'll go to first-time guests. And there is, you can see that I have 4 steps specifically where I want to send them a postcard. And then a couple weeks later, I want to send them an email with a coffee voucher. That might not be the best example for children's ministry. You don't want to give children coffee, but maybe like a prize pack or something like that to come to get a prize or, free Bible or whatever your steps are. And then, of course, follow-up text about small groups to get them involved for the parents. And then 1 month follow-up phone call after that. So that is, you can set up that workflow however you would like to set up the workflow, but you can do that with first-time guests, which is pretty cool. The last thing I want to talk about when it comes to lists is celebrating with your volunteers. So this is where you can pull up a list of all the people who have registered as a volunteer for that event. That one's kind of basic, but what I really believe is that when people understand the impact that they're making, it encourages them and it wants them to be more involved because they know what they're doing and all that kind of stuff. So with this volunteers, I would make sure you include all the people who showed up, even just like because they were helping with food prep or something like that. But the question is, how do I celebrate? Let me give you some options of data you can pull from Planning Center to help them know the impact that was made with your event. The first one is actually here in, well, actually, I'm going to go back. I'm going to go to Home, and I've created a children's ministry dashboard where I can create widgets on each one of these things of like attendance, maybe first-time visitors, maybe head counts. So this is a good place to connect with, make widgets on the impact that you're making with children's ministry. Another place that you can grab some information is with check-ins. And I specifically want to jump into an event. Let's say it's that like in a specific event that we did, like summer celebration, for example. You could have head counts or you can track whatever you might want to track. So you can track if you're not taking attendance of everybody and you're just trying to see how many people are like showed up, you can track the people. You can track attendance through a custom head count. You can also track other things like how many people, did like wanted to be baptized or something like that. Or maybe other silly things like how many times did your pastor get dunked in the dunk tank? Or, whatever thing that you kind of want to track, you can track it here in check-ins. And the last thing that I want to encourage you that you could put in this celebratory email for your volunteers is like quotes and stories. These aren't things necessarily you can grab with Planning Center, but I know when I've participated in an event and somebody shared quotes and stories, I just felt the impact more and I just wanted to be more involved. And I love that. Last thing I want to point out, though, is cleanup tasks. So in People, I've created a whole bunch of different lists that I use specifically for Summer Celebration 2025. The question is, how do I clean that up? What I could encourage you to do is you can, first of all, let me put it this way. There's a lot of lists. You guys are going to create a ton more lists, and you should create a lot of them. But I always have this filtered down to my starred lists. So when I'm done with an event, I can just simply unstar those 4, and then I don't have to think about them. But what's a nice tip about this is next year in 2026, when I want to do another summer celebration, I can go to my all lists, find that one, and just edit the rules to make it for 2026 instead of 2025. So it's a lot faster way to pull up all the lists that you want. So I encourage you, don't archive them or delete them. Just leave them in the ether and then just find them when you need them and change them at that point. All right, so that's about everything that you can do after an event. If you want to learn more about anything with Planning Center, don't hesitate to hit that question mark at the top right. Otherwise, thanks for watching.